Republicans want to hold FBI Director Wray in contempt of Congress over Biden document. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is taking steps to hold FBI Director Christopher Wray in contempt of Congress after the Bureau informed the panel that he will not comply with its subpoena related to a potential criminal scheme involving then Vice President Joe Biden. However, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, stated Tuesday evening that it would provide access to documents in a format and setting that maintains confidentiality and protects important security interests and the integrity of FBI investigations. Additionally, the FBI stated that they would continue to collaborate with Congress. Comer, RKY, has asked the FBI to examine documents that allegedly reveal a criminal plot tied to Biden, a foreign national, and related to exchanging money for political decisions. The document is an FD 1023 form created by the FBI. The visitor first subpoenaed the document earlier this month, but the FBI said it was necessary to protect the FBI's confidential human source program. After that deadline, Wray arranged a phone call with Comer for Thursday, the 31st. However, the Federal Bureau of Investigation notified the panel that it would not provide the documents to the committee until Tuesday's afternoon deadline. Today, the FBI informed the committee that it will not provide the unclassified documents subpoenaed by the committee, Comer stated on Tuesday. The FBI's decision to stiff-arm Congress and hide this information from the American people is an obstructionist and is unacceptable. While I have a call scheduled with FBI Director Wray tomorrow to discuss his response further, the committee has been clear in its intent to protect congressional oversight authorities and will now be tasked with. In response, the Federal Bureau of Investigation notified Fox News Digital that it remains committed to working properly with the committee. The Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, announced, in a letter to Chairman Comer earlier today, the FBI is committed to providing access to information responsive to the committee's subpoena in a format and setting that maintains confidentiality and protects important security interests and the integrity of FBI investigations. Last week, Director Wray scheduled a telephone call for tomorrow to provide additional details of the FBI's extraordinary accommodation to satisfy the subpoena request. A whistleblower, contacted by Comer and Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican Iowa, asked for the document, stating that it would reveal a precise description of how the alleged criminal scheme was employed as well as its purpose. Grassley told Fox News Digital, "Chairman Comer and I have been more than patient with the FBI. The Bureau's failure to comply with our constitutional oversight duty comes with consequences." Grassley stated, "I hope to hear a different tune from Director Wray tomorrow, but if not, Congress must defend its oversight prerogatives. Americans have a responsible government." After Comer and Grassley informed Wray and Attorney General Merrick Garland of the legally protected and highly credible whistleblower disclosures last week, the committee decided additional terms based on unclassified legally protected whistleblower disclosures that may be referenced in the FD 1023 form, which included June 30, 2020 and $5 million. And authority. Additionally, as the agency receives funding from taxpayers, Congress is obligated to monitor how those authorities are used and how that funding is spent. If it decided to do so, it could leave the FBI out of the question if it found that the Bureau, having lost credibility by playing politics and performing incompetently, had become more trouble than it should have been. One of the reasons the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has suffered so many failures in recent years, is that Congress has failed to live up to its responsibility to provide overall oversight of FBI operations, especially with regard to the FBI's mission on foreign counterintelligence. However, Congress has assigned much of the oversight responsibility to an unreasonable legal panel, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, which should not be involved in FBI operations. There are situations in which the executive branch can lawfully overrule congressional subpoenas. These deal with legislative attempts to usurp or undermine the president's constitutional power, a tendency that the framers were very concerned about. Therefore, the Supreme Court recognized executive rights. Presidents refuse to accept the validity of the War Powers Resolution because of this, even though they adhere to it grudgingly and incompletely. However, Comer's examination of Wray did not lead to a conflict between the division of powers under the Constitution. Rather, it is the division of powers as intended. Congress cannot take executive action, as statutes provide for executive agencies, such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, it clearly has the authority to oversee how the Federal Bureau of Investigation uses those powers. Wray had no valid reason for refusing to comply with the subpoena requesting knowledge of a. whether the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, had received evidence showing that a vice president was involved in a criminal act deemed to involve the personal use of federal powers, and b. if so, what has the FBI done with the information? Wray can use law enforcement privileges from now until the end of time. However, that is not a privilege provided for by the Constitution. The Director does not have the privilege to withhold from Congress information about how that authority was exercised. I am not a persistent critic of Wray, unlike some on the right. He inherited a mess when he took over, and I have tried to cut him slack. Being director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, during the administration of Donald Trump and progressive Democrats has been a challenging task. The first demanded that his political opponents be investigated, while the latter insisted that their opponents be investigated while the Bidens were kept safe. Still, Wray was in charge of colluding with his fellow Trump appointee, then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, in order to prevent the Republican-controlled House from uncovering what we now know was the FBI's shocking Russiagate malfeasance. I understand why Rosenstein did it because, after all, he approved the FBI's last Carter Page FISA warrant application and appointed the former FBI Director Robert Mueller, who somehow managed to probe a political conspiracy. Over the next several years, Wray has overseen a wide variety of violations, including a. illegal surveillance by the Federal Bureau of Investigation under FISA, b. extensive involvement in eliminating political campaigns on social media, c. special involvement in the elimination of the Biden influence scandal by Democrats and intelligence, and d. collaboration with the Democrats to build a political image that white domestic terrorists rule the country. Now, the fact that CHS might claim that Biden was involved in a fraudulent scheme doesn't mean it happened. It cannot be removed easily. There is ample evidence to suggest that Biden is deluding himself and actually lying for it. However, people who held positions of authority were invariably charged with trumped-up charges of offenses. Since these individuals are presumed innocent, the Federal Bureau of Investigation cannot conduct an investigation without honesty. Over the years, Congress has given the Federal Bureau of Investigations ample room because they recognize that secrecy is necessary for an effective investigation, and they have come to believe that the Federal Bureau of Investigations is a competent and impartial organization. Wray can no longer rely on such assumptions. To be sure, Comer may suffer dire consequences. If it's proven that he was wrong about that information, or if the FBI is actually conducting a legitimate corruption investigation, yes, if hindered by its efforts to obtain and disclose such information, Comer will be insulted. As if that would set off a death alarm for the congressional investigation of Biden's Republicans. However, that is a risk Comer has to take. He recognizes the importance of taking careful action. For this reason, Council Speaker Kevin McCarthy has assured Wray that the FBI can revise important details that might compromise the sources and information-gathering procedures, as long as Wray provides core information. However, the household has a right to have information about Biden, and Wray has no legal reason to keep it under wraps. The director's rejection of Congress's subpoena is disrespectful. Similar to what Chris Wray would say about any American citizen who dared to refuse a subpoena in an FBI investigation, those who persist in such disrespectful behavior should be held in contempt. Hope that doesn't happen. When that happens, however, jealousy is only the next step, not the last. What does the FBI document for FD 1023 contain?